Hello there. A very special vlog today, as I have with me my friend Seb, better known on YouTube as Hiros Knight. How are you, Seb?
Alright, thank you, Ollie. I'm Hiros Knight, so you can expect some more Misheard Lyrics videos from me soon. I haven't forgotten.
Good. Very good. And Seb has an interesting theory regarding Star Wars, don't you, Seb?
Yes. All the strings are being pulled behind the scenes by the dark, evil overlord. And it's not Palpatine, I'm telling you. Watch the movies again and it becomes abundantly clear the main villain of Star Wars is C-3PO.
C-3PO?
You may think that's preposterous, but just watch from the very beginning, like starting with the Phantom Menace. You see him, he's just been born into existence, into this world, and already he starts off by making himself look really ridiculous. You know, he goes, my parts are showing, my goodness. You know, he's trying to make himself look like a fool, like a moron, like somebody who can be taken lightly. But he uses that to lower everyone's guard, and he secretly does things, just very subvertly, to sow mistrust in people. Like, for example, he judges Jar Jar Binks and says that creature's a bit odd.
Well, he is a bit.
Yeah, but they're supposed to be able to trust this guy, and you know he's trying to sow mistrust. And also, he warns R2-D2 about starships. Also, he's had access to Anakin's pod racer the whole time. He was one who sabotaged it. You know, it wasn't Stoll, it was him. He had access to it. And
Really?
Attack of the Clones, you know, he goes into the droid arena and he's got his head on a battle droid and is shooting and he's acting like he can't control himself. What he's doing is using it as an act so that he can assassinate some Jedi that might cause trouble for him later.
I did always wonder about that.
Yeah.
Are there any blatant displays of treachery?
There are, and they come in later on. Most obvious in Revenge of the Sith, right? You know, at the very ending, when Padme has just been brought into the ship by C-3PO, R2-D2 is watching Anakin and Obi-Wan fight because, you know, they're both his friends and is concerned about the outcome. C-3PO is looking after Padme, but what he's secretly doing is poisoning her with poison that, you know, is really high tech. So he couldn't tell. If they did a pathological report, you know, those droids on the asteroid at the end, nothing came up, so they just assumed that she lost the will to live because their droid functioning didn't take into account the very sophisticated poison that C-3PO has probably synthesised, you know, with all his free time.
I did wonder about that.
Yeah, and in episode 4, right, when they're on the Death Star, he actually betrays R2, you know, he betrays everyone by saying they're going to the prison level. He could have lied about where they were going. He turns off the comm link so they can't communicate with R2-D2, and he tells R2-D2 that they're dying so that R2-D2 doesn't do any more to save them because he thinks that they're dead. So,
since you mention it, in The Empire Strikes Back, he did try to convince them to surrender on the Falcon.
He did. That was blatant. He was lowering their morale enough by telling them how low their odds of survival were, so that they would eventually feel like they have no option but to surrender. And he's always doing the same with R2-D2. He's always calling him overweight. He's always saying no one likes him. He's always calling him a fool. You know, he's always making him go off on his own. You know, he alienates R2-D2 from everyone else. He always mistranslates everything he says to make him sound ridiculous. You know, it's just a poor R2-D2. Luckily he's got more resolve than that. Also, have you ever wondered why, even though he can speak the Ewok language, the Ewoks actually start cooking Han, Leia and Luke faster? That's because he orders them to, and the only way they stop is when he starts flying. You know, they were going to kill him. And C-3PO was encouraging them to.
Wow, you've given us a lot to think about there.
Also, in Return of the Jedi, C-3PO could have warned more loudly since it was important that Luke was standing on the trap. But he didn't. He let him fall in the trap.
Well, he might have been mad at Luke for selling him off.
He's not. It's all water and Vidbridge for someone that malicious and evil. But it's a classic Cain and Abel story, right? Luke is the good brother. C-3PO is the evil brother.
Brother?
Yeah, Luke and C-3PO are brothers because they both were made by Anakin.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting little factoid.
Yeah, it's a scumbag. It's a fucking scumbag. Do you know what? I'm amazed I'm the first person who's seen through him. I really am.
Oh, you've given us a lot to think about, Seb.
Human-cyborg relations, more like self-serving relations.
Well, what do you guys think? Is C-3PO evil? Have we missed an even more evil character? Let us know in the comments. And
It's not Jar Jar Binks, it's too obvious. Too obvious.
yeah, thanks for coming, Seb, and
No problem.
thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.
C-3PO, human-cyborg relations. What?
That's a very different type of robot.
Well, does it do screenings?
That's going on an outtake at the end.